They call it interdiction. They call it counter-narcotics. But when you fire a Hellfire missile at a wooden fishing boat in international waters, you aren't fighting crime anymore. You are waging an undeclared war. Breaking reports confirm a deadly escalation in the Eastern Pacific. The Pentagon has acknowledged that a U.S. military strike, likely a drone or naval helicopter engagement, has obliterated 2 vessels suspected of trafficking cocaine, leaving at least 11 people dead. The official press release from U.S. Southern Command, SOUTHCOM, describes the targets as low-profile semi-submersibles that refuse to heave to. They claim the use of lethal force was a last resort in self-defense. But if you look at the footage and the aftermath, this wasn't a police action. It was a summary execution at sea. The mainstream media is reporting the seizure statistics. How many tons of white powder were stopped? The Observer is looking at the bodies. To understand why 11 people are dead, you have to look at the silent shift in the rules of engagement, ROE, that occurred in late 2025. For decades, the war on drugs was a law enforcement operation. The U.S. Coast Guard would board, arrest, and prosecute. But as the cartels have militarized, using armored drones, military-grade radar, and submersibles, the U.S. response has shifted from arrest to neutralize. The designation of major cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, FTOs, has effectively blurred the line between a drug dealer and an enemy combatant. This strike is the grim result of that policy shift. We are no longer sending lawyers. We are sending reapers. Let's look at the deep dive data. The location of the strike, hundreds of miles off the coast of Ecuador, suggests these boats were part of the Pacific Corridor, the main artery for cocaine heading north. But intelligence analysts are raising a red flag about the positive identification, PID, process. In the dead of night, distinguishing between a narco sub and a legitimate fishing trawler moving dark to avoid pirates is notoriously difficult. There's a terrifying economic asymmetry here. The U.S. military likely used a munition costing upwards of $150,000 to destroy a fiberglass hull worth maybe $20,000. Manned by impoverished fishermen who are often forced into smuggling by the cartels under threat of death. These aren't the kingpins. These are the expendables. And now, they are the casualties of a high-tech shooting gallery. The risks here are diplomatic and legal. The governments of Mexico, Colombia, and Ecuador are already demanding answers. If the U.S. military claims a right to blow up any vessel in international waters that looks suspicious, they are effectively establishing a naval blockade of the entire Western Hemisphere. This sets a dangerous precedent for freedom of navigation. If China or Russia started doing this to suspected smugglers in the South China Sea, Washington would call an act of aggression. Furthermore, this escalation guarantees a response. The cartels are not going to stop shipping drugs. They're going to upgrade their defenses. We are about to see the introduction of surface-to-air missiles, man-pads, on drug boats. If the Americans are shooting from the sky, the smugglers will start shooting back. The Caribbean and the Eastern Pacific are transforming into active combat zones, putting commercial shipping and cruise lines in the crossfire. So, what happens in the next 30 days? Watch the classified briefings in Congress. There will be questions about the intelligence failure. Was there a high-value target on board that justified this level of force? Or was this just a trigger-happy drone operator following new, loosened protocols? The verdict is grim. The war on drugs has failed to stop the flow of narcotics. So now it is mutating into a war on the people who move them. We have moved from just say no to just open fire. While the other channels focus on distraction, we focus on the front line. If you prefer raw intel over fluff, subscribe now